Oh, forgive me. I was so busy typing. You see, this is the moment. This is the moment where the Lebanese cook is going to make it look as if Alicia committed suicide in the pantry. Oh, I am so silly. You don't know what I'm talking about, do you? This is my latest book. My, 6th, I think. My name, I think you know, J.B. Fletcher.
Nobody had ever done a series that featured an older woman.
We had a show where we broke all the rules.
I thought to myself, oh, I hope to goodness that those stories are going to be okay.
It just goes to show it doesn't pay to listen to idle gossip.
CBS was getting beaten badly on Sunday nights. And in desperation, they ran an Agatha Christie movie. And I think it was Murder on the Orient Express, I'm not sure. And lo and behold, it beat NBC and ABC. So they initially thought it might have been a fluke. And a few weeks later, they purchased another Agatha Christie-type movie and ran it. Same thing happened.
Harvey Shepard, who was the senior vice president of programming at CBS, wanted to do a mystery with a woman. And Dick Levinson and I were very surprised because usually there hadn't been any big hits with a woman protagonist carrying the series. Usually the woman was bailed out by all the male associates that she had. And we figured if we're going to do a mystery show with a woman, it's not going to be like that. Peter Fisher wrote the script from a story that Dick and I and Peter concocted. But now we had to come up with somebody who would satisfy CBS.
Mrs. Fletcher, what an unexpected pleasure. I have spent many happy hours between the covers of your books.
I first heard about Murder, She Wrote, actually. Sitting in my apartment in New York City, I decided that I wanted to come to the coast and do television.
We had been big fans of Angela Lansbury through the years. We were big Broadway nuts, but we figured Harvey probably has never heard of her. She'd done some television, not a lot. So it was great trepidation. Dick, Peter, and I pitched him, and he flipped out. It seemed that Harvey loved Angela Lansbury. Next, we had a meeting. We had to sell Angela, obviously, in the Black Tower in the president of television's office on a Friday afternoon I'll never forget. Angela came, her usual self, charming, very decent woman. We pitched her.
I met with the writers, Levinson and Link, and the writer, Peter Fisher, for a 1-hour mystery series involving a lady detective. She wasn't your normal kind of Miss Marple. She had a lot of qualities about her that I found very attractive.
So she says, no, I'll read your script because I like this concept of a woman detective, and she's strong-willed, and she's her own person.
I have certainly been very patient under the circumstances, but I know my rights, and I insist on phoning my attorney.
It just seemed to be a wonderful meeting of the minds.
And then she told us something, and our collective hearts sank. She said that weekend she was going to read a new sitcom from Norman Lear. And I will tell you Monday morning which one I choose. It'll be one or the other. We figured, oh, we're dead.
The half hour didn't work out, even though I met with the producer. But Jessica Fletcher, there was something about it that I found very attractive, and I thought, I can do something with this.
And sure enough, Monday morning, she called and said, I'm yours. And that was great. That was the beginning.
Then life played a nasty trick. Well, doesn't it always?
They wanted a 2-hour movie, not a 90, but a 2-hour movie, and it had to be in New York the first Tuesday in May. And we said, oh, no, no, no. And all of a sudden, we got a crazy thought in our head. What if we just shot maybe 3-4 key scenes of the movie? She can fill the story in by talking to the camera.
3 years ago, April, I got that fateful phone call from my nephew, Grady.
So the day came that we were starting with her and had a small set built. And she was sitting there, she said, the prop man, is he around any place? I want one of those old-fashioned phones where you can take the receiver off, etc., and have a long cable on it. And she's building a noose. And this was her thought. No one told her to do this.
You know, the Lebanese is going to try to hang Alicia in the basement with this. She's just a little bit of a thing, so I think it'll hold. Yep.
Couldn't believe what we were watching and listening to. And then Tuesday, I received a call from New York, and the people were yelling and screaming in the background. It was the advertising people all screaming they want the show.
Jessica Fletcher, the character, was a widow, no children. She had created a second life for herself in Cabot Cove, written a mystery book that had suddenly become successful.
She had some foibles. Yeah, I hope she had a lot of charming things, little things that she did that you liked about her, you know?
She rode a bicycle and she planted flowers.
She never drove a car, you know that. Do you know why she didn't drive a car? Because Peter Fisher decided that if she could drive a car, she would never have the opportunity to ask somebody to give her a lift. And that's how she made contact with people. In the first place, it's on the page. But then, of course, as an actress, it's what you do with what is on the page. In the original concept, Jessica Fletcher was probably a little bit more eccentric and had general characteristics of an older woman. I wanted to eradicate that aspect of her and make her more kind of ready for the world.
I think the character of Jessica Fletcher became who she was because of Angela's input.
I wanted every woman to find something about Jessica that they could say, well, yes, I would think that, or I would react that way. I wanted to make her every woman.
Angela brought sophistication and dignity and made her lovable. I mean, every cop in the world wanted to help her because they could flirt with her.
Boy, my Adele was sure right about you, Mrs. Fletcher. I mean, she said you wouldn't mind me imposing on you at all.
How much of Jessica Fletcher is really Angela Lansbury? And I would say, cumulatively, a lot.
I hope I'd share a lot of her traits. I certainly was brought up to, conduct myself in a certain way, so I suppose I bring that to her.
Whether or not you start out with the character being designed very much like the actor, they tend to meld. As you get to know that person, you tend to write more to their strengths, to who they are.
A lot of my Englishness, I think, has bled into the character of Jessica. I played her as a more general New England person. I always felt that she came from Boston. That allowed for my slight English accent, which crept in from time to time, you know.
I don't think she goes around solving mysteries every day, but she's very charismatic and full of personality and energy, and I think those are the qualities that made the show such a hit.
First time that we met Angela Lansbury, I told her that if she accepted the role and it became a hit, that her whole life would change. She wouldn't be able to go to the Brentwood Mart anymore because people would come over to her, they'd want autographs. And I said, be prepared, Angela.
I was actually 59 years old when I started Murder, She Wrote. And I didn't realize what a hard job it was going to be and what hard work was going to be involved in being on the set 8 days at a time for each segment.
We were scheduled to take a 2-week hiatus over the Christmas, New Year's. And she was physically, really was tired. She was doing an 18-hour-a-day run. We did the last scene and finished it. And Angela said, take me to dinner. And she said, boy, I am very tired, Bob. I'm not sure I am going to like any of this. But all of a sudden, as we were eating, people start coming over with their menus and asking her to autograph it. She realized that she was being recognized, and no longer was she just an everyday person walking down the street. And she gave me a sly look, and she said, oh, no, I do my own grocery shopping.
It's like the television audience owns you because they watch you in their home. You're like a member of their family, and they treat you that way.
That was heady. That was exciting. Knowing that the audience liked us was lovely. He liked us.